It's March. Hey, I'm here. I'm just piddling around for a minute. Look at that. I'm loving it. We got newfangled fields against rye fields. Hey, it's Roo here. Let me say hello to you. Jump on my other shot here just for fun. I got some wild music in the background. It's a little bit of, I don't know what the heck it is. It's something. Can't figure it out. Hey, I'm Michael, or some great kids call me Rude. Thanks for being on the show today. It is Monday in March, and I think it's March 8th. I believe it is March 8th. I'd have to look, March 8th. I have to look at the calendar. Certainly, it's Sylvester. Remember him? He was the putty tap. All right, let me say hello to a few of you and jump back on this show. I quit counting on Saturday, so I don't know what day it is, but I think it's, I'm just kidding. I really didn't quit, but I did. I was going to stop saying it because it's been a habit. But it's almost been a year since I started, but only 226 days counting classes. So top of the morning, let me stop this here. Not stop it, just turn it down a little bit. I'll talk over this. John Robert Small, who says he's in the rye-covered fields of Veracruz, Mexico. Man, back into planting season for you. Good job, buddy, and I'm glad you're on the show this Monday morning or whatever time it is there. It's Monday morning. Irma, thank you. What a gift giver you are. Get little packages. Came home and had mail piled up. It's good to see notes from some of you. Pat Brooks had sent a note out, and also one that I have to hand deliver to my daughter. Thank you for that. Bob, morning from the newfangled cornfields of Iowa. The newfangled. Now, there's a word for you. Newfangled. Art is newfangled. I mean, when did people start painting? Did you ever ask yourself that question? When did people start doing art? Ooh, that's a hit art for the we'll talk about that. Deborah Spangler, good morning to you. Belinda Piazza. Man, this music is just going crazy today. Linda Lindhart, welcome. Barbara Mayer, Pauline Bold, Karen Binder. There's Pat Brooks. The fabulous folks in Roo World. Roo World. It's not like Disney, but we got one big Roo ride. There's a giant rooster. He's on a track, and you can put 50 people on at a time, and he takes you through the farm. Maybe it's a giant wheelbarrow. Whoa, like a theme park. I see it coming. Jennifer Yentz, good morning to you. Spring is in the air in Indiana. That's awesome. It is here, too, except I'm still wearing got on a lighter vest today. This is what is this? North Face. Now, they're not a sponsor yet, and I don't know if they're going to sponsor an art show, but anyway, good morning to you. Spring is in the air. And Annette Insland from Bird Island. Although it's not an island, she says, but it's Bird Island. So I'll write that down just to do a little bird here. And those birds are out there flying around. I have seen a couple notes. You know, the little concrete birds that flew back in 2020. Remember that year? They went to people with a little original. There were little birds from the Gardener's Cottage in Asheville, North Carolina. Great place. If you're in Asheville, visit the Gardener's Cottage, okay? They're not a sponsor either, and who cares? I want you to go to these places. I love talking about places just that are fun to me. In fact, I'm going to tell you about one this morning. That's really kind of fun. So Heather Koopman, thank you. Judy, y'all, thank you from Ohio. Randall Taylor Craven. Deborah Rideout, good morning. Nancy Leftwich, good morning. Fern Skelly, thank you. I think there's some mail from, I still have mail piled up from my trip. I'm almost sorry, but I'm not, for the tardiness of just being able to disappear for a couple of weeks. Even though I was working and inside and secluded off from most people, my wife had a small group meeting going on with some things. I finished my video. It premiered last night for the Organization of Young Life, and I hope it was a success, but it was my best attempt at storytelling, and it worked well, I think. Susie DeLay, good morning to you. Teresa Emmerich, June Jones, Denise Albright. Denise, you're cranking out those dogs. Stay on it. You found your niche. You found your voice. Stay with it. Dogs in the art world are huge, huge. Even little dogs are huge. Chris Young, thank you for being on the show. Virginia Mann and Westra. Alice Durham, Jack Wolfenbarger, good morning to you, my friend, from Farragut High School. And yeah, we need to find out what newfangled ideas are going on in Iowa I want to know, other than corn, what is it that's newfangled? And it could just be a new corn seed. If you want new corn seed, maybe he's growing popcorn. Send us some popcorn. Denise, morning Annette. Denise says, so there you go. Now you guys are talking to one another. I love it. Jafar Abdul Karim, good morning to you. Nice jazz tunes. Yeah, it's a jazz mixed with classical, because I call it jazzical or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I call it classaz. I'm just making up stuff because I have no idea what it is. Julie Walden, Vicky Delry. Vicky, have I missed your name on the show? I see some Vickies, but I don't see Delry. And of course, I'm not even going to try Wapkinski Muskosium. Okay. Donna Buckley, thank you for being on the show. Becky Bailey, good night. You guys are just piling in, and I love it. It's Monday morning, and let's get started here. Gemma and Jean and Laura. I could just go on and on and on. It's so fun. Tom cranked some, from out on the coast of Maine, Tom cranked some art out. Maybe you've seen his art. And so Irma's answered my question. The Paleolithic, the oldest secure human art form, has been found dates to late Stone Age during the, and my thought is this. Okay, let's just talk about it for a minute. Yes, I'm a history teacher. Irma is, she's a history teacher. She rolled right out on that. So here it is. What was art all about? And I'm going to tell you that Rue, in his simpleness of quick, fast, loose, and clean, is this. Well, I don't know about the clean part. Okay, so I just threw that one in there because I needed. I really had three. Everybody does three. I wanted to do four. Here's my point. It's about storytelling. Art is about storytelling. That's it. That's it. If it was written on the cave wall, it was a map. It was how to get to food line and get some milk and bread if it was going to snow. That's what the storytelling was about. No, it was about animals that they had seen, or it was about the hunt, or it was about flour, pollen ground up, or animal fat, or even blood blown over the hand and turned into animals. It was all that first. It was storytelling. It was like drawing in the dirt with a stick. Hey, go over there. There's something over there. You need to go over there. Maybe it's how they said dinosaurs over there. Got to go bring it in for dinner. My point is, it's storytelling. It hasn't changed. It was about religious reasons. It was about historical regions. It was about family. It was hieroglyphics. It was all that. It was a symbol that told a story. Should it be any different in your world? I don't think so. The best art tells a story. When Carol and I were in Florida the last couple of weeks, we visited a friend's house, and a house we had not seen of hers. And she said, "Let me give you the nickel tour." And we're going like, "Yes, thank you." And so we wandered around, and every little corner was a piece of original art, and not little art. So not every little corner either, but in every space there was original art. And we just went, oh my goodness. And the cool part was, she knew all these artists. She had been connected with them somewhere, whether it was when she was learning to cook in France, and someone just said, hey, this is going to be this. This is her view. This is something that I love. It's a view from the river. It's a flower painted by a friend of her mother's, just gorgeous, unbelievable. And her art told stories. And I just felt like, yes, this is the way it's supposed to be. So it's one thing to run down to an art gallery and just buy a piece of art that connects to you, but find its backstory. Find out about the artist. Find out who they are and what makes them tick. Do they live in the newfangled fields of Iowa, or are they from the rye-covered fields of Veracruz? Okay? And I'm just remembering this, not looking. So those facts stay with me. Okay? Where was the setting? What was the artist thinking? What went through their mind to get to there? When you discover that your best art is going to come out of your past, your history, or even what you bump into, but if you're looking for that story, your art is going to have a voice and people are going to want to connect with it. The hard part about selling art is you got to sell yourself. Okay? And some of you go, well, I don't want people to know that. And so if you don't want people to discover you, they may not discover your art, because people want to look underneath the cover and go, oh, this is the backstory. They love the backstory. I just worked on this television show last year, and one of the episodes is out. And to me, I love the story. And I like the concept of what the story was about. But I love the backstory more of meeting the talent and working with the producers. And my son was one of the running producers on this show. And so to work with him and see how he worked in the chaos of TV, which I hadn't seen in a long time. And it's chaotic, okay, that crazy world. Anyway, I digress somewhat, but not a whole lot, because you could build a theme park for Peeps. Yeah, I have. I've already done a Ferris wheel, but in the chicken world, a Ferris wheel is called a rotisserie. So you got to be careful how you paint things like that. All right. So Barbara, thanks for being on the show, and there's Rosie BG. Always good to say hi to you. Kathy Deach, Chris Whitaker. Let me just paint something for you that has a story. I started with an umbrella. Let me go to picture in picture. Hey, it's Monday. Guess what? Tuesday's tomorrow, yes, and then Wednesday is the first class of March, and we're going to start off with a pen and some black and white for those of you who have signed up. For those of you who have signed up and the registration closed, I even left it open a day and a half because I just couldn't get to the page. Yes, I'm busy, and it's a good thing. I'm blessed. My point is this. You'll be getting an email from me if it hadn't been showing up in your box already sometime this morning. It'll have another link. You can go to that page. I will try to open the page tonight, not for any classes, but put a video on there that'll allow you to it's me rambling about pens and pencils and papers and whatnots, okay? So let me paint this, and I'll get into a couple of stories for you. I started with an umbrella, and why? Why did I start with an umbrella? I started with an umbrella because yesterday, Sunday afternoon, it was a beautiful day. Carol and I went to actual church. Didn't watch it online. We just actually so let's go. I registered for a service so they'd know who we were, where we'd been, and we took off, and we went out to lunch and sat at a little place and had some a bowl of wonton and some fried rice. I think she had lettuce wraps, so that tells you what we went to. We went to Chinese, Asian food, and I came home and I did some work, piddling work, and then I turned on the TV late before and it was the Bay Hill Classic was open. And so I'm not a golfer. I never followed golf, but I was around it a lot because I lived in Ponte Vedra Beach for a while. And so, man, that is a long brush. What am I painting with this morning? Let me wet these paints down a little bit. Man, I just got so carried away telling stories this morning. And I always spray these paints down a little bit with just a little misting bottle. Just loosens them up. It's a little easier on my brushes. Gets water all over the place, me included. And I should look where I'm spraying when I spray. I might just do this with a small brush this morning. Here's a little, let's see what I got here. This is a little number 6. And just grab a little bit of, I sketched this with that little fountain pen. Let's see. Red, yellow. Let's paint that red. And I'm trying to think what it is. There's actually, I saw the logo yesterday, and maybe if you're a golf fan, you watched the Bay Hill, which is in Orlando, Florida, which was the very famous home course of the one and only Mr. Arnold Palmer. That was his course. Not only did he design it, but he lived right there. Met him on that course one time. Not the first time I met Arnold Palmer. I met him. Let's see. This should have had one more little place in it here. I think I'll just put it right over here like this, and let's just go right in here and see if I can get one more. Let's see. I think this is his. It's green. No, maybe I messed up. It doesn't matter. I don't remember what his colors are to his logo. I think it's red. I think there's maybe a white. There may be another color in there. I'm sure there is white, and I don't know what the last one is. Doesn't really matter. Here, I'll just make this one all green, and we'll just say there. That's good enough. Arnold Palmer's logo was an umbrella, and so I just let that kind of run and be a little sketchy there, and then maybe I'll do this right here. So I was working on I think it was 95 or 96, something like that. and I'd volunteered to go help. A friend of mine was the production, I guess he was the head of production for the TPC productions. Worked on a lot of the senior classics and things like that. He was big TV guy. Because I was just getting into video back then and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it. Didn't even have great cameras then unless you were a TV guy. So I wanted to hang around those guys and learn what I could. So one day I called Roger and said, hey, could I, is there any way that I could come and just volunteer? And he goes, oh my gosh, yes, I need some extra guys. He said, this event's coming up, and it's the NFL Classic. And so Arnold and some of the guys, some of the guys are going to be there to play in it early on. And so why don't you come over and just run the tapes for me, run sticks, jump in with one of the camera guys and ride around. And I'm going like, I'm on. So I take off. And so I go out there on the course, and so I've got an earpiece in from the producer, and he's telling me this, that, and the other, and they're telling our cameraman that. So if he's backing up, I'm watching him so he doesn't step on the green or in the hole or in the sand trap while he's filming guys. So if you've ever seen golf, you got camera guys out there in the midst of everything, and you're looking out that you don't get in somebody's way or in their line or get whacked. And I would also, if they would shoot a tape, this is back when there wasn't digital cameras, so we were shooting tape. And so he'd say, need a tape. And so I would take that one, mark it very carefully where we were, what holes we were on, who was shot. So I wrote all that down, dropped it in a box, and then it took him an empty tape and plugged it in so he could get back to shooting. And I got a call from the director or from the producer who's over in the trailers and all those trucks and stuff and all the TV gear. And he says, Mr. Palmer is coming down 9. Go put a wireless microphone on Mr. Palmer. And I'm going like, Arnold Palmer, yes. And so I'm going like, oh, this is cool. So I jump in, I tell my camera guy, look, I got to run. Production wants me to go he goes, go. So I'm off and running. So I'm driving over, heading down to get the 9, and I park and pull off to the side, and get on my shirt, and that says whatever it says, crew or camera crew or TV crew. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, so I got my microphone, everything ready, and I make a one of these. I intersect Arnold Palmer coming down with his caddy and the other golfer. I don't remember who that was. One of the guys from NFL. This is the NFL Classic that starts before the TPC starts, and which is coming up this week. And so I just cut him off, and I sort of step right in front. Before I get there, I say, Mr. Palmer, with productions, they've called me. And he stops, pulls up short, and he goes, yes, sir. And I said, no, sir, thank you for stopping just for a moment. Production has called, and they want me to wire you with a wireless microphone. And he said, and why would I want to do that? And I said, well, sir, you're coming in on the course here, and they know your shots are going to be terrific, and they'd love to put a microphone on, love for me to put a microphone on you so the TV world can keep up with you. He said, no. So I'm going, Mr. Palmer, the production would love to have a wireless microphone. Won't take up any space. I'll just clip it right back here, run the wire up your shirt, clip it in right here. I'll do a quick sound check. I'm on your way. Play well. And he said, no. And I said, well, production, he said, the way I'm playing today, there's no telling what I'll say, and I do not want any of my words on TV. And I said, yes, sir. So I take my little microphone, I back up, I start back up to my car. So production calls me then. The producer calls. He said, you get that microphone on Mr. Palmer? And I said, no. Mr. Palmer says he doesn't want a microphone. And so the guy in my ear, not very pleasantly, says, you tell Mr. Palmer to put the microphone on now. And Mr. Palmer walks by, and I wave at Mr. Palmer, and I say, you tell Mr. Palmer I'm volunteering out here, so fire me now. Mr. Palmer says he doesn't want a microphone. So I can just hear the guy throwing stuff down in the studio truck, and I'm going like, I'm jumping back up, and they said, how'd you get a microphone on Mr. Palmer, as my cameraman says. I said, Mr. Palmer doesn't want one. And they go, all right, well, he's the golfer. He gets to call the shots here. Anyway, so it's a funny story, but so we're 1/2 a mile from the ocean. That's where I lived for 12 years in Ponte Vedra. And so what happened is that I would go over, take our dog over, our Sunday afternoon get out at the beach. We had to spend there. Sunday afternoon was Carol's drill. The whole family had to go until sun went down. And we would walk past the Palmer Design office, which was right on the boulevard there in Ponte Vedra. And I would see this umbrella, and I think it was an umbrella that had these colors in it. But I'd see that umbrella. And yesterday I saw the umbrella at Bay Hill. So there's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Isn't it crazy how there's like, when you start connecting stories, there's all these connection points. All right. It's just amazing what happens. Some of you got stories, you got sightings. Isn't that fun? Isn't that awesome when that happens? Kimberly Nash says, good morning, Roo friends. Gave my mom her Roo mug for her birthday. Her reaction was priceless. She's going like, what the heck? I need a crane to help me lift this thing. It's heavy. All right. Hey, the Roo mugs are not far away. So why did I paint this umbrella? I painted it because it reminded me of flying a kite, which I was thinking about. I thought, I hadn't built a kite in a long time, and I probably need to build one for my grandkids. So I think I'm going to build a kite. But I thought it would also be fun to maybe use an umbrella as a kite. And so I thought that might be fun. So that's guess what went through my head, my Arnold Palmer story there. And I saw this umbrella yesterday on TV. Who knows where paintings are going to come from? Who knows what's going to connect in your story in life? The history of art has to deal with storytelling. I promise you. Go ahead. Look it up. Look it up. I love you know what the caption of this would be? I got it already. Dude, you took the shade. Not that you're flying, not that it's March and you need to be flying kites in March. You took it out. So this would be Palmer Design Group right there on that logo. I also worked with an organization in 97 during the Bay Hill tournament. And we built a 13-foot umbrella, and I actually got to hang it in the hospitality tent. That's the second time I met Arnie. And I put it on a motor, and it turned. Hey, let me show you something about this paper here real fast. Take a look. This is a Kilimanjaro Sketchbook. You see it? It's a little different than the Kilimanjaro Paint Book. I guess I better replenish this one, huh? There's the Kilimanjaro Paint Book. This is bright white paper. Let's say you're working on business cards, birthday cards. Let's say your Christmas card. Your printer's going to love you. I say this a lot, and but I'm going to say it more. Take a look at the difference in the color of paper here. This is natural white, okay? And it looks really white on this light. I'm in a 56K softbox light here this morning. There's natural white. Look at bright white. See the difference? There you go. Bright white, natural white. What's wrong? Nothing. They're both great paper. But if you're going to take your artwork and send it to the printer, let's say you find a local printer, not your printer, well, even your printer at home, but let's say you send it out to a printer who does an offset press and digitally, you send them a digital file and it's high res and you scan it in and you send it to them. They're going to love the bright white more than the natural white. Especially if you shadow things, if you've got some detail in there you won't pick up. Will this work just as fine, just as good, just as fine? Such English language. I have command of it so well. Yes, this will give you a little more pop to your colors. If you like that look, this is good snowstorm. This is good journal stuff. This is good. Just grab it and go and run. And this is a sketchbook, and this is a fun little book. It's 5x8. And I picked it up back in October. I know because I put October right there on it. And so back when we were painting bugs one day, man, what a good little study for things like that. And so it's great size. It drops in my little travel bag with my little tin of colors and my travel brush with my bug out bag. It won't go in my bug out bag. Just about. Yeah, this one will almost 7 by 12. It will. It'll go in your bigger bug out bag. They're 7 by 12. So that's natural white as opposed to bright white. There it is again. Take a look. This looks a little more blue in this light. Sorry, that's lights are in Kelvin. This is a 56K light. So there you go. So, dude, you took the shade. Okay. So, yeah, that's what Orville said to Wilbur. Come on, man. I was resting on the airplane and you flew off with it. Love this paper. Love fluid paper. It's all 140 pound. All these have been 140 pound. I do have some hot press here, which is a lot slicker. But I haven't painted a big roux in a long time, so I'm going to take a piece of this fluid out. And let's see if this is about the same. Let's see. This is bright white too, I think. Let's just compare these two. Still have a little bit of brightness. It's going to be close when I lay it down. Look at that. It's pretty doggone close. Bright white, bright white. Never really see the difference at the eye, probably, or not the printer there. This is Fluid 100 cold press. It's 100% cotton. And this is Kilimanjaro 9x12 100% cotton. And both of these are 140 pound. You might find a little more grip on the Kilimanjaro. Maybe the roughness of the cotton is a little more pungent, sticks up a little more pungent. Doesn't smell, but it's a little more obvious. All right. So I just want to show you, every now and then I want to show you a new kind of paper, but I love to carry this. It's just so quick and easy to carry around. Flips open and start sketching wherever you are. Can I show you a picture? Take a look at this. Went downstairs to make my tea this morning early. I was sitting here in my studio and I thought, it's time to go make some tea. So I run down. The sun is just racing through the eastern side of the houses over there. And take a look at this. I shot 3 photos. There they are. Take a look at this photo right here. Now take a look at the one in the middle. And that's me just moving the camera so that the sun is catching those flowers. Now I turned the picture a little bit. See, this is the first one I shot in the middle when I'm moving here. What's cool about this is not only is it on a cool oak table, which would fall out of this painting, you don't need it. Probably so would the Joy, which is a marble Lazy Susan that turns. But look at the sun pop the yellow in this one. But look at the depth in this one here. And so this picture is from France. It was just given to my wife, one of 3 that came. A friend carried them over from France. And there's the stamp, and it's just really a cool picture. But look at this. Look at the color. So if you're looking for something, here's the thing. What are the flowers known for? Those are sunflowers, and you see them all over France. And then here's this French picture. So these came all the way from Trader Joe's. I know because I picked them up on Saturday. I brought them in, and they don't even, a couple of them have the darker centers. Here's one here that has the dark center, this one. All right, so what I want to say is if I'm looking to paint a still life, then I wouldn't have to look any farther than that. Sometimes it's the setting, it's the lighting, it's just the stance. There's this great story about, all right, let me jump out of that for a little bit. This was Roodoodles.com. Oh, by the way, if you haven't been to Roodoodles.com in the last few days, there's a new shot on Roodoodles.com. It's this shot here. Kaboom! There it is. That's yours truly standing in the doorway in one of my favorite places. If you ever come to Charlotte, go into the little town of Matthews, North Carolina, and go to Renfro Hardware. Woo-hoo-hoo! Go to Renfro. And can I call attention to what Pat just posted up there for a second? Pat, you did a great job of saying that. Let me do it again. You said every angle, and now I think I've taken those poor sunflowers and thrown them away. What did I do with them? Rats. I don't know what I did with them. But anyway, I shot different angles so you could see the sun hitting them in different ways. And by the way, look at my focus. And by the way, I shot this with my iPhone this morning. I focused here. I focused in the middle, right under the rim. And a couple times I focused on the flowers. And I did this so that as a painter, Everything else drops out of focus in the background. I'm not even worried about that. I don't care what's back there. There's a wall over here that has Christmas card pictures. Back in here behind it, up above the flowers, there's a rack that has 25 honey pots on it. My point is, I'd cut this out right here and just create a small still life of that. And I really do like this. I really do like this painting. Okay, so what I was showing you before I rudely threw it away was this painting right here of yours truly. Here's a little self-selling thing. But this was shot by my dear friend Samuel Martin. And Samuel is a painter with a camera. He sees things and clicks onto things and says, hold it, stand right there. And he goes, let's look at this. Look at that old door. I like the way. And this coat is called a Theodore. Because Buffalo Jackson Trading Company is the guys who designed this jacket, and they're here in Matthews. And so when Samuel called and said, hey, would you model one of the jackets? I said, man, I would love to. That sounds like so much fun. And he said, could we shoot it in your shop? And I'm going like, no, my shop is... well, he said, I want a messy working shop. And I said, okay, let's do this. Let's call Renfro Hardware. And these guys, the sweetest family, man. They grow their own flowers, a lot of their vegetables. They have their bees for the honey. But this hardware has been in the cities forever. And the guy who owns it used to work for the man who owned it before. And when that man was retiring and getting out of the business, the owner now was just finished engineering school at State. And he calls him on the day of the graduation and says, hey, why don't you just take over the hardware? And he's going like, well, what the heck did I go to engineering school for? But man, he is a talented guy. They get hardware and back in the back is all this cool shop. And so we shot that there. So there's another story related to this that I wanted to tell you this morning as I paint this big old roof. Let me get back on my page here. There it is. Because that jacket, it was Theodore. Because why? Because Theodore Roosevelt was tough, and he was part of the Rough Riders. He was rugged. He went out west. He was, just think of it. He's wiry. He's ready at a moment's notice. He's just all the things that you can say. If you've never read The Making of a President about Teddy Roosevelt, it's worth the read. He was the sapply little spiny brother who everyone said he's tiny, he's not going to amount to anything, he doesn't have any strength, and he goes out and he just became a tough man out west. And just a great story. I love it. So anyway, they build good clothes, and they love America. They love just the whole story of building things and leather bags. So I shot this, but I put that last night. We put that on my website, and that jacket is on there. And it says there's a link to Buffalo Jackson and also photo credit for Samuel Martin, who has become a dear friend, a young man who is an old soul in a young body. And I got to love that, huh? So I get to do voiceovers for them. Sometimes I come in the studio and I go, Buffalo Jackson. And it's fun. It's fun. So what I wanted to do is tell you that one time John Singer Sargent was commissioned to paint the President of the United States, who was Theodore Roosevelt. And so he goes to the White House. And John Singer Sargent, by the way, had some great watercolor. You probably think of all his oil paintings and the work he did for the Biltmore State and just brilliant stuff everywhere. But if you ever seen some of his, and I haven't done a big bold rule in a while, so that's where I'm headed here. If you haven't seen some of his watercolor, he had these purple and yellow shadows that were just remarkable. And so Singer goes and he gets President Roosevelt. And he says, we got to wander around the White House here. We have to find a setting. We have to find a place where to look the best. And I thought of this when I was shooting that vase this morning, when I was turning my camera 5 or 6 different ways and going like, click there, click there. So they're walking around. So he spent the first afternoon walking around. He says, sit here, try this, stand by this wall, go over here, come into this garden, come over there. And so after the second afternoon, about halfway through, Theodore Roosevelt's about had it. He's going like, look, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Find a place and paint it, because this is the tough guy now. And he's going like, just get with it. He says, wait, Mr. President. So Mr. President finally just leans on the newel post as they come back around toward the White House, and he puts his elbow down the newel post, the story says, and he says, I'm over it. Forget the whole thing. And immediately in that stance of his elbow down, John Singer Sargent says, stop right there, Mr. President. This is it. Got it. Got it. And so that became the setting that became the painting for Theodore Roosevelt's presidential painting from John Singer Sargent. What a great story. Here's why. You just go out and you just keep looking. That's why you carry a journal with you. That's why you carry a quick camera or an iPhone, and you shoot a shot and shoot it 3 ways. Don't just snip one. Walk around the other way. That boat I shot last week, I shot 10 pictures of that boat. I wanted it from every angle. Carol and I walked the bridge of lines, and I shot it straight on, and I shot the side of it. And I shot it at an angle, and I shot up at the mast, and I just kept, and I'm thinking there for a minute, I'm just being an artist with a camera. And that's the way Samuel Martin is for Buffalo Jackson. And I really like working with him. Man, he'll send me some footage sometimes that he's taking out in Telluride and say, hey, we're going to put a voiceover to this. And I'm going like, could I just go to Telluride and say it while I'm out there? And he's going, well, no. Anyway, young guy. So love working with him. I haven't done a big bold roo in a while. Michael Ashburn says, I'm an old man in an old body with an old soul, but I can still GQ out a pair of bib overalls. Yes, but you only have one strap that buckles. I know your overalls. The other side hangs down. And, well, this is a family show, Ash, so get with the program, buddy. Love you, brother. Talk to you later. I use my dining room table for painting. No flowers there. Whew. Well, put some flowers on your table. And here's the rule. Every house needs original art and fresh flowers. Fresh flowers are cheap. They're as cheap as paper. Just go get some. Don't buy them from florists. Did I just say that? There's no florist that sponsor my show. Look, I can drive down to Trader Joe's. They come in on a semi. And I don't even have to drive down. I'm 1.5 miles from there. I can just walk down and grab them. All right. So it's been a while since I've been a big old roo. This is on 9x12. This is not Kilimanjaro. This is the Fluid 100 paper. And let's let it roll. Here we go. Put a little water in here first. Just paint with a little water. Why? Because, well, it's watercolor. You paint water. And then you add a little color. And when you do that, watch what happens. It just rolls in. And this is the part that people are still afraid to do. They are afraid that they won't use a big enough brush to get, they're afraid they'll have a too big a brush to get in all the little spaces. Good. Don't get in all the little spaces. Leave some of them open. You see there's one right there? It's a holiday. Happy holidays. I'm going to do what I love to do on my Roo tails here. I'm just going to grab this Lamy, I think as John Robert Small says it's pronounced, but who's to trust a guy who's up early painting rye in the fields? We know what they do with rye. They put it in shot glasses when it's distilled. So why am I putting this in here? Because I know as well as you do now that the fountain pen is become a friend of the watercolor artist, in my world anyway. And I love architectural sketches with fountain pens. You got to love that. Look at this. No pigment in this brush other than from that pen. And you got to love it when this happens. It's pretty cool right there what happens. And I'm still leaving some holidays. I'm being very careful not to, I'm adding some water over here because I want to wet this paper just a little bit. Sometimes your paper just, if your paper, some people tape their paper down. That's fine. I do not tape my paper down. If I do tape it down, I tape it onto a board so I can turn the whole board. I love having the ability to turn my paper like this to sketch it. Instead of me reaching around here and doing this, I can just turn it over here and do this. More comfortable for me. Hey, I'm the artist. I'm in charge of my paper. You know, people teach sometimes that we must address the canvas like this, and you have to hold your brushes like this. I'm going like, who are you? You learned that way. Don't tell me how to use my wrench. I might put it on the nut upside down. I might be the nut. Quit worrying about it. Okay? Make it work for you. You know, I have had people tell me, and I've never had art teachers who've told me this because, well, I had a piano teacher at one time that said I had to set this and put this here, and also had a guitar lesson one time where a man said, never put your thumb up over the guitar neck because it shows that you don't really know what you're doing. And I said, that shows that I don't know what I'm doing? Well, what's this show? And so, you see, I'm always get that little smart aleck edge, and it's not that I mean to, it's just humor to me. He says, no, your thumb must be in the back of the neck pushing forward so that it gives you this reach. And I said, but that's not comfortable to me. This is comfortable. So he said, your guitar must be down here. I said, what if I want to play it up here like this? And he said, you are impossible, incorrigible is I think the word that he really used. And I said, I don't even know what that word means at this time. And so I went home and said to my wife, I'm paying for these lessons and I'm done paying for them. I want somebody who says, take what you got, get comfortable with it, and have fun. And that's kind of what my classes are about, I hope. So we're going to try and do that anyway. I like this. Watch this right here. I love what's going to happen here. Buffalo Jackson keeps popping up on your news feed now. Good. There you go. Somebody's listening. Hey, write them a note. Tell them hello. Tell them Roodoodles or Michael says hello. They know me as both. So it's kind of fun. I haven't even sent the picture to them yet on my new website. And there's a new page on there that says Roohoo. Yeah, I know. It's been on there for 10 years, but I just copied the information over. It says Roohoo, and it has to do with who I am and why, name, and all that. It was on my early website, and I just hadn't had it on there when I started painting during COVID because I didn't have time to do a website. Let me tell you about Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. We are so close to seeing a first run proof. So close. Meanwhile, that book's being published, or it's going to be published, and then at the same time, there's another book being worked on that is going to be fun. It's a coloring book, and it's going to be for your grandkids, or unless you just like to color. I always love just mixing up a little bit of gamboge. Here's some right here. Just come in and also grab a little touch of this red, just a touch. Whoops. If there's too much, go back and get some gamboge. Cleaning my brush out between paint lifts. Is that a word, paint lift? Yeah, just lifting up a little bit. One reason I love this Yatsutomo brush, bamboo brush, is because it really does lift up some paint. It's sort of like, I think this one's goat hair or horse hair. I don't know. I'll study it. Or when the Yasumoto people call me, I'll find out exactly what they made it out of, and I'll pass it on. We're going to have a little chat here soon. I like this rooster, and I think I'm going to add a little more touch of black right there, and I think I want a little bit of green in the back feathers. Just really a bright spring roo here a little bit. Look, I'm just dancing this brush. I want a little bit of orange coming in. That looked like green to me. Guess I didn't clean that brush out very well after telling you that you must. See? Don't follow the rules. Break the rules. If you can hear that music, I'm sort of painting to that music. It's kind of a fun sound anyway. I dropped a little turquoise in there, but it disappeared, so I'm going to just run a little line along his lower belly here. And I might put a little sprig of it up in there. And I think I'm still going to go back for a little more of that orange. I think I need a little swat of orange right up in here. Shreep. Yeah, that's good. And a little more right there. Fun little colorful Roo. I like him. I'm going to stop. And I know that's hard for some of us to do, and sometimes especially me. Come in right here with a little of this. This is my ultrafine flare pen, my prided discontinued one. Every time I think of these guys stopping this pen, I want to just send them another letter. But you know what? It doesn't help to send people letters like that. They don't care. I was at a restaurant though over the my trip, and we sat down at this restaurant at 12 o'clock sharp with reservations. And at 12:30, we decided to see if there was going to be a waiter that appeared at our table. And we're visiting with friends we haven't seen in years, so we're not in like a hurry. At 1 o'clock, we said, hey, you think it would be good to, oh, shucks. Sorry, I forgot to turn my email off. It's starting to bounce in. And think it would be good if we could order some food. And she went, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And but we're just so slammed. And I'm going like, yeah, it happens. That's good. At 1:34, so I had to get up and go to the men's room, and I came back, and I picked up a manager's card on the way out, and I sent a very nice note like, hey, we came here at 12. It's 1:32. Our food has not arrived. I'm just hoping that you're in the restaurant because your team might need you right now. And send me a note. And it was about 2 minutes later that this lady comes out and she says, hey, I'm the manager. I said, well, you're not the one I just emailed. Anyway, and I said, here's the thing. I'm going to pay full price for my meal and I'm going to tip. But you guys need to figure out what's going on today, you know? And because I'm at the beach and I only get to visit out here, and I just came to get a sandwich, and I should get a sandwich in less than an hour and a half. And she said, you're right. And so they made it right, and I paid my bill, and I tipped our waitress because it wasn't her fault. And then management and I had a fun talk about, well, that's not working right. Management and I had a good talk about hospitality and food service. Man, it was fun. I got to tell you, it was good. Sometimes you just have to not be rude, but just say, hey, did you know this was going on? Because if somebody doesn't tell you, all these people that are over there in the same shape that I am, they're going to start voting with their feet, and then they're going to vote with their thumbs, and you're going to miss some business because people are going to be upset. And I like this big old Roo. Man, oh, come on. My page keeps popping up on the email. I'm so sorry. All right. Love the holidays on his back. Left those in there. See there? You got it. Look at that. Woohoo. And then let's come in with this pen right here. No more color on this guy, but let's come in and just do some, maybe I can come in with the handle of the brush. I love doing that sometimes. And just picking up some of this wet paint and letting it drift out a little bit. Whoops, it's already dried too much. Let's see if I can, oh, there's a little bit right there. Look at that. Just dip the handle of my brush in the water and just come in here, maybe get some purple there. Isn't that fun to paint with the handle of the brush? I do that lots of times. You know, the first art that we were talking about on cave walls, ta-da, these are the brushes. And that's what they taught you in kindergarten. Just paint with your fingers, kids. And then, nowadays we go, don't get my child soiled. Don't get them dirty. You're like, oh, parents, give me a break. Your kids need to be outside pushing over anthills or doing something like that. So I like this for feathers. Watch this. Look, let's just be creative here. This is a number 4 Kilimanjaro, American Journey brush. Not what Joe planned when they were designing them, but doesn't care because he's going like, hey, let's make it happen. Any way you can create art is what art store people love about you. I'm telling you that. Let's go in here with a little bit of this orange. And so what? Some of my green went in there. I guess I need to wash my brush handle off a little bit better. Just wet the brush a little bit, come in and get some of this orange right here, and then just let it come in there like that. You can use a liner brush like that. This is a number 3, a little longer, and I do have a line brush somewhere. Where is that thing? A rigger brush is called. Here it is right here. I think it's a different color. I can usually find it faster. Here it is right here. This is a rigger, and it's a number something. Number 0, it looks like. Look at this little brush. Is that cool? Can you see that? Look at the point on that. Compare that to this brush. Look. There you go. Okay. So a rigger brush is, yes, to draw rigging in a ship, but look what it does. Holds all this paint and the bristles, and it just makes these long, super sweeping lines if you want them to sweep like that. Oh, that's so fun. I see something I'm going to do too. See this dark spot right here? I'm going to take some of that out with just a little piece of paper towel. Bing. But you know what? I liked it, so I'm going to put it back. I liked it. I liked it because it was showing a little, what I call the bottom end of the roux, a little shadow here. So maybe the sun's coming over this way. And I'm going to put a little of that shadow right in there too. Just over in the front of his waddle. That's a little too much, so I'm going to just wash that out a little bit right there. I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair. Was that South Pacific, I think? You know, I really am ADD, ADHD, fast brain, and it's perfectly fine. I have learned to live with it, and it suits me fine as an artist. Certainly, I learned to think like one, okay? Voila, I love it. You got to love your own art or you wouldn't do anything with it. So start loving what you're doing if you want to be an artist, and certainly start thinking like one. Let me move these brushes over and get this back in here. Put all this down. I got a handful of stuff and I don't even know, get off there, what I'm holding or handling. There we go. So that's cleaned up a little bit. That's a nice little roux. I think he's going to say, let's create something for him to talk about here. Let's create. I find myself painting to the music. If you can hear that, that's really crazy, but it's true. Isn't that weird? Ah, spring is here. Little daffodil. I also picked up some daffodils for Carol the other day while I picked up the sunflowers. And I'm telling you what, they are the coolest, man. They were in a little vase. Is that called a vase or a vase? With a bulb. And so one of them has already bloomed out over the weekend. I just love it when that happens. Look, I turn this way so all my splatters are not going in the same direction. Put a little splatter in here. I want to come up here underneath the bottom and use a little Payne's Gray and just put a little dirt in, maybe a little brown in there too, a little more water on that so I get some dirt splatter. Spring is here. Spring is here. Spring is here. I'm crazy today, sorry. I love it. I love what art does. It tells a story, people. It's supposed to tell a story. Fun to do a big roux. He's 9 by 12. It says, spring is here. We all love it. We love when things start turning green. We love it when the sky starts getting those big white fluffy clouds. You want to paint something? Clouds are tough to paint. Holy smokes, they're tough to paint. Dang, just woke up, Kathy. Sorry we missed you. Just go back and look at it. Yes, roux rule in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle is put the brush down and back away from the easel. So I'm doing it right now. That's it. That roux is done. Could I go back in here and clean this up and add a little bit? The only thing I'm going to add is a little feather right there and a touch of orange to this Peep's body right here. Ding, ding, ding. Just in the, that's it. That's all I want to add right there. What I have to do sometimes, if I leave it here in front of me, I'll keep piddling with it and messing with it. So I'm going to say, stop. And I'm going to change directions on you. I've been sketching again in my Bible journals, and I've been sketching little people. In fact, can you see these little people that I sketched right here? I don't think you can. Here, let me show you this. He is crazy. Man, that went right in the trash can. All right, look at this. Coming up. Just going to see if it's going to focus. Take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Take a look. See if I can get it to focus. Hang on. It's going to take a second here, so bear with me. And focus there. Look. What does that look like in the distance? Don't worry about that little scraggly thing right up here. That's in the way. But look at this right here. Does that look like a bunch of sheep with a shepherd? Yeah, I think so. And so the reason is because I've been doing these tiny people, and right now I don't know where any of them are. But I did some. I promise I did some. Maybe I threw them over here. Let me see if this is where I put them. I think I put them over here. Oh yeah, there's one. There's a little. Whoops! Now it's not in focus. Sorry, I fooled my camera. Okay, so there's a. You want to stay behind? You want to learn to paint? Just stay behind the mule. There it is, right there on this little drawing paper. So I've been using this little drawing paper to just do quick sketches on. These are paintings that sold. Let me put those back down there. Take a look at this. I mean, I'm in my Bible journey, and I'm reading in Luke now because I've sketched my way through Matthew and Mark, and now I'm into Luke. And there's a page of scripture, then there's a page that's just blank. And so I just paint a little object there that reminds me of the important part I want to remember in the story. And it's a learning tool for me, okay? So this was something I did right here. And so I don't paint four-legged animals, but I sketch them sometimes out like that. Bunch of crabs. I thought I had another one in here. Nope, these are all beach paintings that are just, sorry. I thought there was another one that I did a sheep. So, but I like this one. But here's what I want to show you. So I needed some reference people to look at. I needed to go online. I needed to find some. I needed to go, where can I go? And I pulled this book out. And maybe you've seen it. If you haven't, this is my last little hoorah this morning. It's called Noah's Ark. And this is the important part right here. Not that the ark wasn't important. I think it's a great story. Peter Speer, S-P-I-E-R. Those of you, he illustrated over 50 books in his life. He died in 2017. This book, take a look. This book is signed to my daughter in 1979 on March 24th by some dear friends of mine who live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's right there. There's the signature, 1979. And so this is the story of Noah. And then I want you to take a look at these people and the sketching. And I was thinking, where do I have a book that shows these little people that I've been trying to sketch for the last couple months? And I've been doing it out of just quick little sketches and with my fine, ultra fine pen. And then I went, I know where it is. It's in Peter Speer's illustrated Noah's Ark. And so there are all the animals, and there's look at these little awesome illustrations. And look at all the holidays in everything. It's just fabulous. And here's all the animals. And so here's the inside of the ark. But look at the people that I just really loved in the beginning. Look at these folks right here. Look at all these people walking and the little sheep over here on the hill. So that's where I saw those little sheep and I went, oh my gosh, that's what I've been looking for. Those little sheep right there. So he did, his first book illustrated was called The Fox Went Out on a Chilly Night. It's an old folk song, old bluegrass song. You might find a recording of it by Nickelback, or you can just Google it, Fox Went Out on a Chilly Night. You'll find the book, but you may also find a YouTube of some people doing it on stage. Oh, the fox went out on a chilly night. It's got a fiddle piece. And anyway, so I wanted to share that with you. Every now and then you come across somebody who is an artist, who's not writing an art book, but look at how he does his animals. They're just fantastic. Now, I'm not saying go in and trace these. That's never what I'm saying. I go in, but they give me the ability to say, oh, if I turned that just a little bit, look what that would do. And so because I'm learning to do this in my travel journals, I want to get better at people, and I want to get better at people in my storytelling. And so that's one of the things that I constantly work on all the time, okay? And I found myself in Florida painting very few roosters and more just where I was, and also working so much. But it was a great place to work for a couple of weeks. Who's complaining, right? All right. So Noah's Ark, Peter Spear is a good name to look up if you want to see some creative little, if you're looking for flower artists, I haven't gone down that book path yet, okay? Or you can look at my daughter, truecotton.com, okay? True Cotton Art, I should say. She's a brilliant artist and does floral font, very loose though, and there's no rhyme or reason to her palette. It's just all over the place. Except suddenly yesterday she told me on the phone, Dad, I have organized some of my colors in palettes. I'm going like, uh-oh. She goes, no, don't worry. I've still got my big open pans that I paint from, but I've organized my colors together here that I bring over. And I'm going like, okay. All right, find yourself a place to paint. And if you can keep it set up, and we'll talk about that. Tomorrow, I'll see you, and we're going to do one more day on something fun before I go into my first class. Check out the new website. It's not new, but it talks about things that are coming. There's a little bit of a site there so you can subscribe to my email address if you want to. And pretty soon, I think, I've been taking the shows that I really like the best, that you people have come in and commented and been a part of. And I'll tell you what I've done. Sometimes I'll send that to YouTube. So if you want to see some of the old shows without going into Facebook, you can just go in and subscribe to my page on YouTube. And how you get there, just hashtag it. Hashtag Roodoodles, or hashtag Michael Hahn, or hashtag watercolor roosters. And so one of those hashtags should take you to one of the links. And once you're in there, subscribe to the page. When I put a new one out there, it'll pop up. And I talk about what I talk about here. It's this show. I just put it on YouTube a little later. So you can subscribe to YouTube. I've got an Instagram account, all that stuff that people are saying, how do we reach you? And more people are asking. That's because you guys are, you love the show, you like it, and it allows me to keep doing it, because the more interest I get and the more people that help me put that together, the better off I'll be at just being a fun place to land, I hope and pray that I'm entertaining, but I'm also pushing you a little bit to think like an artist. Here's the painting. It's going to dry. I'm going to post it. Here's the one that says You Took the Shade, Arnold Palmer. And keep looking for that right setting. And I'm going to give that painting of the picture of the sunflower seeds and the French pitcher to my wife and say, you need to paint this. This is your style. Or even my daughter. She can knock that French pot out. All right. Blessings on you. And it is always fun to hang out with you. I still don't know where my harmonica is. So I'm going to go off in the prelude from Bach in C major. And here it is right here. Have a blessed day. Thanks for liking the show. Thanks for all the comments. I'll go back and answer any questions that I see this morning. Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle should be proofed soon, and then we might even do a pre-sale on that, and I'll keep you posted on that. You can also do that through the emails. Those of you who've registered for the class, you should be getting an email soon, and I'm going to try to open the class before the nightfall is upon us. We shall see. All right. Blessings to you. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for sharing my show, and have a blessed day. I'm out of here like a herd of chickens. Shh.